Marcos impede progress in Region 8. In Eastern Visayas, President Marcos declared a state of calamity for a year due to the compromised state of the San Juanico Bridge. The bridge serves as the only permanent land link between the islands of Samar and Leyte, a key component of the Pan-Philippine Highway connecting Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Marcos on June 10th visited San Juanico Bridge and operations at the Amandayehan Port in Basay, Samar. With us now for more is Eugene Tan, the president of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Tacloban-Leyte. Maayong buntag, Eugene. Welcome to the program.
Maayong buntag. Maupay nga aga haton nga tanan. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday indeed. How are things in Samar and Leyte, Eugene? It's been nearly a month since the DPWH imposed the 3-ton load limit on the vehicles crossing the San Juanico Bridge.
Yeah, you're right, Kathy. That's actually, since the closure is about May 16, so it's barely a month. It's really affecting. But good to hear that since last Friday, they started the RORO operations. The private sector actually has been calling the government agencies to fast track everything that for the economy to keep on going. Because we know for a fact that the San Juanico Bridge is not just an infrastructure for tourism, but it is an economic artery of the entire region, even connecting the Mindanao and the Luzon area. So
True.
it really plays an important role for us.
It is indeed an economic artery when you talk about connecting the economic center of Tacloban with the 3 provinces in Samar alone, because that has a huge economic impact. But talk to us a bit about the bridge, because it's over 50 years old, and to my understanding, its load limit runs up to 50 tons. But now that a 3-ton limit had been set, it means that trucks and buses now had to find other means to transport fuel, food and medicine, which is why you mentioned Roros.
That's right. We have a port right now. Due to the load limitation, there is an identified port in Samar. However, this port has just been rehabilitated to cater for this problem of the San Juanico Bridge load limitations. So that's why it was just up and running last Friday. DPWH made all the repairs for this 24 hours. So, however, there is also a limitation for this port to cater the RORO vessels. It can only cater one at a time, so they cannot dock 2 to 3 vessels at one time. That's why making it only about 6 trips in a day for the RORO vessels to have their trips in one day from Tacloban, go to Amandayehan in Samar, Basay Samar, and then back to Tacloban from Basay Samar. So really, it's a problem right now because the 6 trips sometimes goes out to 4 trips only in a day. So there are really some. That's why we've been calling also government agencies to come up with efficiency in terms of operation. So at least right now we're giving them probably the chance to come up with a good system to be able to adapt and to be efficient enough, because there's only a day trip right now for the RORO vessels due to absence of the night navigational, which I think the good DOTR secretary has announced during those meetings that they will fast track the procurement of those navigational equipment so that in 1 to 2 weeks' time, we can have a 24 hours operation for the port of Samar and Tacloban.
Right, those are really compelling pictures. The ones that we're seeing provided by the PCCI, having to run through that bridge with a load limit and having the same kind of limitations you just talked about in putting up barges and going the way of RORO. This disruption has really been a big burden to the people and the communities there. How are locals carrying on? Because if there is a disruption in supply, presumably consumer prices would go up.
Definitely, especially in the case of Samar. As early as 2 weeks after the declaration, the number one that's evident enough for the increase in prices are the fuels. We have some counterparts in Eastern Samar from the chamber. They told us that there was a 2 pesos increase for the fuel, aside from the increase in the transportation cost. So there are shortage of some commodities, prime commodities, as it's not readily available. So there are even small entrepreneurs that has shut down their operations.
And it's not
That's why
even a
it's
month.
really,
It's
yes.
because the
Yeah.
NDRRMC estimated just maybe a few weeks ago that the economic losses could run up to as much as 600 million pesos per month. Is that about right, or do you think that's a lot more as you near that 1 month mark?
It's a lot more actually for us in the chamber. It's a lot more considering that there are 1,400 trucks that's passing through the San Juanico Bridge, except for the small vehicles. So do you imagine the economic value of those trucks carrying those commodities that's being disrupted due to this load limitation? So it's really, and we have a 6.2 GDP growth in 2024. So we hope that this will not be affected too.
Have you made scenarios already on how much worse this could get? You've mentioned some closures already of small businesses there.
Yeah. Part of the PCCI economic mitigation measures that we submitted to the National Economic or the DepDev is to come up with an impact study from the PSA. And actually, part of those recommendations is to come up with the declaration of the state of calamity for Region 8, which we really appreciate that the president has just declared the few days ago.
That's true. He did declare a state of calamity, not only for a certain period, but for a year until everything
1
gets
year.
resolved for all of Eastern Samar. So how do you foresee this impacting the repair and the rehab of San Juanico Bridge then?
Well, based on the meeting of the Regional Development Council last Tuesday, we were told by DPWH probably if they will be able to source out the fund of 1 billion, they can come up with a 5 months repair period. So hopefully, this can a dream come true for us, no? If it will be able to operate in 5 months to 6 months time, because according to the DPWH, it can, if once it is repaired, they can come up with a 30 tons load for this bridge again.
Picking up on what you said, it's a perfect time for the LGUs there to show what they've got to help and pull together, and that the PCCI Tacloban-Leyte itself is calling for the comprehensive regional infrastructure strategy. So what is this about, and how do you intend for this to help the kind of mitigation that's going on right now, and look at it from a bigger picture so that this doesn't happen again?
Well, probably agencies should have come up with in the service science of a forward-looking and integrations of plan of government infrastructures, ensuring probably redundancy in certain projects be implemented by the government. And of course, we have to consider resilience and the inclusive growth of the region. That's a very important for us because we have to come up with an probably the whole of region approach.
And it's lessons to be learned there, and also looking forward to what can be done at this stage. Well, thank you so much for the insights, Eugene. Daghang salamat. Eugene Tan of
Thank you very
PCCI
much.
Tacloban-Leyte.